All right, welcome back to Take What You Can. The Brian Dayball sensory room is across the hall. Goodness gracious. I cannot believe that they benched Daniel Jones for Danny DeVito. He might as well be Danny DeVito. Like, I'm not trying to fully hate on the guy. Good for him. But goodness gracious. You're really going to bench Daniel Jones for Tommy DeVito? Like, that's going to be any better. And if that doesn't tell you what an emotional wreck Brian Dayball is, I don't know what does. Because it's something else. What the Giants have done in the past however many years, 10 years, has been atrocious. I don't know what's going on. And I'm looking at, because I'm not a big fan of the Mara family. Clearly, they don't know how to run a franchise. I think, because we look, John Mara, along with Steve Tisch, became the owners of the New York Giants in 2005. So I just want to take a look here. I'm going to go through the records of the New York Giants since 2005. Okay, in 2005 they went 11-5. Lost in the wild card round. Tom Coughlin was their coach. It was his second year as head coach. 2006 they went 8-8. They lost in the wild card round. 2007 they won the Super Bowl after a 10-6 season. Still, Tom Coughlin is your head coach. The New York Giants, 2008, they went 12-4. They lost in the divisional round. Tom Coughlin again, 8-8 in 2009. 2010 they went 10-6. Didn't make the playoffs. 2011 they went 9-7 and won the Super Bowl. Again, this is all Tom Coughlin as the head coach. 2012, 9-7, didn't make the playoffs. 2013, 7-9. 2014, 6-10. 15, 6-10. And then once they got rid of Tom Coughlin in 2016, Bob McAdoo went 11-5. Excuse me. I'm going to give a lot of this credit to Tom Coughlin. Because in Tom Coughlin's, 10 or 11 seasons, maybe even 12 seasons, he made the playoffs 5 times, won 2 Super Bowls. Since then, since 2016, they've made the playoffs twice, and they lost in the wild card and lost in the divisional, and those are the only 2 years they've had a winning season. So is Tom Coughlin the reason for the winning in the Mara era? Is that what it is? Is it what it is? I would honestly give a lot of credit to that. And the reason I'm bringing it up, obviously, was the Daniel Jones benching. But if we take a look at the owner, Mara, John Mara, there's something in the news lately that he said. Giants, according to CBS Sports, Giants owner John Mara says team is not making any changes, asking fans to be patient. Okay. And I also saw something on, I think, Bleacher Report that said something along the lines, maybe it was on X, that Mara's sick of cycling through coaches. Which I understand. Something on this podcast is we definitely believe in giving coaches more of a chance. Right? But I don't think Brian Dayball is the right coach. I really don't. I It's just how can you at all rely on someone to lead your team who can't even have control of his own emotions in any facet? This man is an adult child. An adult child. And he's much older than me. How old is Brian Daboll? This man is 49 years old. He's from Canada, which is obviously a knock on him. I'm just kidding. He's 49 years old, and the man cannot keep control of his emotions at all. Which I get it. We all have moments where we lose it. But I have not once looked at this man and said, he can handle being an NFL head coach. Not at all. He can't handle it. And then we look, okay, McAdoo. Not a great signing. Yes, they went 11-5, but you made Coughlin the scapegoat. You made him the scapegoat. Coughlin, I think, would have had the same season. Then McAdoo goes 3-13. Then you bring in Pat Shurmur, who, again, I mean, he was probably a better head coach signing off of the Vikings than probably Stefanski was. That's what I would say. But still, I wouldn't go. I didn't love him, but either way, okay, he went 5-11, then 4-12. You give up on him after 2 seasons, which that's when you should have said, I don't want to cycle through coaches. Because then you're at the bottom of the barrel of the list. You know, Shurmur was what? He was the assistant coach of the year. I'm pretty sure after that season, he was like a hot commodity because the Vikings just came off like a Super Bowl caliber season with Case Keenum. So you hire Pat Shurmur. That should have been the time you were patient. Yes, we could play shoulda, coulda, woulda, but also you own an NFL franchise. You seem like you should know what you're doing, right? You just had a coach for 12 seasons who didn't. His first season he was 6-10. Granted, you weren't the owner. Then he was 11-5, 8-8, 10-6, 12. Okay, maybe you're like, this is just what happens. Tom Coughlin is a good head football coach. You can say what you want about him being a total stickler, but he's a good coach, obviously. Obviously. He knows football, and he knows discipline. Pat Shurmur wasn't my favorite hire, but that's when you should have been patient. You got Judge, right? You got Joe Judge, who is, maybe you're trying to go for the Tom Coughlin, like, you know, we're going to be disciplined kind of thing. I didn't mind the hiring. I kind of liked him. But I don't think he had the right coaches around. I don't know. Because clearly he wasn't schematically there, offensively or defensively. So you needed the right coaches around him. You're already the bottom of the barrel in the coaching cycle. That's probably why you had to hire him. I didn't think it was a terrible hire, but that's probably why you had to hire him. And then you go and get Brian Daboll, which at the time was a great pick in terms of what everyone else was saying in the media because he was with Josh Allen. They were doing good. Yes, I can admit, on the surface, good pick. But as I've gotten to see him become a coach in the NFL, it has not gone well. In terms of, I don't know. In terms of his emotional maturity and his ability to lead a team. I just don't see it. I really don't. Because, I don't know. They looked good that first year. They did. they were able to actually win games and play games the right way. But this stuff with Daniel Jones, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I know what's going on. I'm going to try to go off what they say. So Daniel Jones reacts to benching. I'm going to see if he said anything. I don't think he has any public statements, but, okay, this is what I saw. Anonymous Giants player, weak as bleep, to bench Daniel Jones over contract clause. Is that why he got benched? Wow. Okay. Okay, he's the QB1 to me. He's the best quarterback on the team. Defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence said. Another player voiced his frustrations anonymously to Schultz. We're not idiots. They did it because of money. So be it. Oh my gosh. But Daniel has been all class, never complained, and is now being completely disregarded. The team record is bad. You can point fingers everywhere. Try to blame him is trash, and making him third string is weak as Yup. This guy hit it right on the money. This guy might as well have been me. That's exactly what I would have said. I'm going to hop in that locker room and just start talking. Okay, let's see what else this article says. So Jones has, and this is Bleacher Report, by the way. This is Andrew Peters. This was written yesterday. Jones has 2 years remaining on his contract and is set to earn $30 million in 2025 and $46.5 million in 2026. You should have never gave him that money. But if you're going to, give him better support. Like, these guys think too much about the money that they pay these guys. Now, I know what I said is pretty vague, but what I mean, and this kind of goes back to the Jerry Jones conversation that we had, yes, if you're paying a quarterback a certain amount of money, you expect him to uplift the team. If he's making $30, $40 million a year, you expect him to uplift the team, and you expect that other areas of your team can weaken because you're paying this guy. That's what the money says. However, that does not mean that you follow the trend of all these other quarterbacks getting paid just for the sake of paying them. If you don't believe that he is worth that money, then you should have never paid him that. And you didn't want to pay him, you did pay him because you didn't want to pay Saquon, and then you didn't want to lose Daniel Jones at the same time. You didn't want to lose the two players that basically got you to the playoffs. And now you look like a joke. Dude, I want to get HBO Max just to watch this Giants thing. I do. I might just do it. Giants, HBO Max. What is it, just Hard Knocks? Off season? Yeah, dude, what a joke. What a joke. Yikes. Because some of the clips that I've seen from this, oh my gosh. These guys don't know what they're doing. And I think maybe the owner puts in his input too much. And Tom Coughlin is enough of a jerk where he's not going to listen to it. And he's going to deal with not listening to it. And he's going to deal with how the owner reacts by not listening to it. I think that's what's going to happen. So, yeah, I don't know. Wow. Let's look more into this article. If he stays on the team the 5th day of 2025 league year, $12 million of his 2025 salary would become guaranteed. Should the Giants release or trade Jones this offseason, they would incur a dead money salary cap hit of $20 million on their 2025 cap. That doesn't really matter. Let's check Over the Cap. And if you've never used Over the Cap, it's a really, really good tool. It just basically is calculating all the teams' cap space and what they have left and what they're paying people. You can cut people, trade people, add people, and you can get a sense of like where they are in the salary cap. And if you follow this podcast in the off season, you're going to see a lot of just me using this resource and talking about, okay, if they add this player, if they cut this player, they could have this cap space, so on, so on. So we're going to take a look at the Giants and see if this even matters. If this money even matters. Yes, I get it. If I was the owner, I wouldn't want to pay him this money either if he's playing the way he's playing. Yes. However, we're going to see if it even matters. Okay, this year they only have $2.8 million. Next year, they have $42 million in cap space, in which is going to be a rebuilding year. Because you have Andrew Thomas. This is the cap number down the list. Can I sort this? No, that's all right. So, $41 million, Daniel Jones. Andrew Thomas, $21 million. Brian Burns, $29 million. Dexter Lawrence, $24 million. Then we got Kayvon Thibodeau, $9.9 million. You know, you got Graham Gano at 5, Evan Neal's 7, Bobby Okereke 14. Okay. John Runyon 11. Okay. I mean, maybe I don't follow these guys as much, but that seems a little silly. Yeah. So they're going to have $42 million in cap space. If you cut him pre-June 1st, if you cut Daniel Jones pre-June 1st, yes, you're going to have $22 million in dead money. You're going to save 19 in cap space. So I'm going to go to the calculator here. We're going to go into 2025, and we're going to cut him pre-June 1st. We're going to be at $61 million. Say we cut post June 1st. You're going to have even more. I'm confused. I mean, yeah, maybe it's the guaranteed money. He ain't staying on this team. He's getting cut. But if I'm Daniel Jones, I don't know, man. I don't think he's been that bad. There is definitely a lot of worse quarterbacks. I know he gets memed. But then again, any New York Giants player that doesn't do amazing constantly gets memed. The New York fan base is the worst. You guys are a bunch of terrible fans. Like, terrible. I would never want to play for you. I'm sorry. I would never, ever, ever want to play for you. Ever. But okay, let's take a look at his stats season by season. Let's look here. Okay, so as a rookie, he played 13 games. He had 3,000 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. You will take that as a rookie season, for sure. You will definitely take that. Okay. 2023, he played 14 games. He had 2,900 yards, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's awful. Awful. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get back to this. 2020. Okay, but also, he's going from Pat Shurmur, who's an offensive coach, who just a few years ago had Case Keenum in the NFC Championship game. Then you go to, I keep wanting to say Aaron Judge. I know it's not Aaron Judge. Joe Judge in 2020. I don't think that drop-off just happens like that. Then you have Joe Judge again, 2021, 2,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Okay. Clearly not the guy. Clearly does not know how to run an offense. Then we have 2022, where Brian Daboll comes. It's the season they make the playoffs. What do we got here? 2022, Daniel Jones played all 16 games, 3,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. A 3-to-1 ratio. You'll take that all day. Then I know he ran a lot. Let me see here. I know he ran quite a bit. Let me see here. Advanced passing, no. Rushing. Okay, 2022. He also had 7 rushing touchdowns and 700 yards. That's basically like a not great season from like that's like a younger season of Jalen Hurts. Whatever. Then 2023 he gets hurt, which he wasn't playing great, but he got hurt. And then 10 games in, he's got this season 2,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I don't know. Obviously not great, but the dude's got some talent. He's definitely got some talent. And then I remember, because like everybody else, I was shocked they took Daniel Jones at 6. Right? But here's the thing. He went to Duke. Right? Duke head coach. I don't know if it's still the same head coach. Not the basketball. Nobody cares about basketball. I'm just kidding. Okay, it definitely wasn't Manny Diaz. Hold on. Here we go. Come on now. It's coming. David Cutcliffe. That is the guy I'm looking for. He worked with Peyton Manning and then Eli Manning. And the big thing about Daniel Jones that the Giants tried to sell, even though nobody really wanted Daniel Jones, was that he worked with David Cutcliffe, who worked with Peyton and Eli. And Giants fans love Eli Manning. Or you better love Eli Manning. I don't know, whatever. But that was the selling point. The selling point was, okay, he's worked with Eli, he's worked with Peyton. He recommends Daniel Jones. Eli recommends Daniel Jones. He looks like Eli Manning. He doesn't necessarily play like Eli Manning, but he kind of looks like him. You're trying to, like, the Giants organization is just all about trying to recreate what they just had, or what they had success in. And I somewhat agree with that, but you also have to get with the times. You also have to change. You also have to evolve. And it's not about following the trends. It's about actually staying ahead of the trends. And this is what somewhat concerns me about the Vikings sometimes. I feel like they kind of got on the Kevin O'Connell, Shanahan, Gruden tree kind of late. They were kind of one of the last ones. So that's what concerns me of, will they ever win a Super Bowl? Because they're kind of late on the trend. So not only do you need to know the trends, but you need to know how to beat the trends, not just follow them. But the Giants are stuck in the early 2000s, and they're trying to recreate what they had, which what they had was great. It wasn't bad. Obviously, they won 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime. Can't say the Vikings have ever done that. But you can't just keep trying. Like, if Daniel Jones didn't look like Eli Manning and had the same coaches as Eli Manning, I'd be like, okay, this has nothing to do with trying to redo what you just had. But that's a little fishy. And then you got Brian Daboll, who's just a baby. And just because he yells a lot makes you think he might be like Tom Coughlin? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? I don't know, man. I don't think you can continue down this path. And you keep blaming players. You keep blaming your stars. And it's coming back to haunt you. It really is. Brian Daboll ain't going to work out. If he doesn't get fired this season, it's probably going to be next season. I mean, maybe if they get a young quarterback, they won't want to fire him right away. But that's always a bad recipe. Why, when your head coach is like on the edge of losing his job, do you draft a quarterback? Because then what happens if the coach isn't great? Then you got a quarterback who's going into his second year with potential, and you got a coach and probably even a GM who didn't draft him, didn't want him. Same cycle, same cyclical nature here. You don't go, okay, we're going to stick with the quarterback that we have, see if our coach and new GM can make it work. Typically, they can't. Then you go, okay, well, then it's the quarterback's fault. Then you get a new quarterback. And then maybe the coach and the GM are terrible. Then you fire them. Now you have a quarterback with potential. Well, maybe it's the coach. And now let's try to get our new GM and coach to build around our quarterback. It's the same thing over and over again. It's what the Bears keep doing. Now what? Yes, the GM Ryan Poles drafted Caleb Williams. But if you get rid of Matt Eberflus, what you're going to... I mean, I know Caleb's a special talent, but hiring a coach after you drafted the quarterback, unless they're like a really, really proven veteran, then that's hard, man. Unless you got like a Peyton Manning or a Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, like Justin Herbert, right? You know, Harbaugh loves Herbert. But unless you have one of those guys who are like grade A talents, anybody would take them. Like, you can't be taking quarterbacks and then firing their head coaches. You have to keep with the guys who believe in him. So clear house. And that's what I was surprised the Vikings did when they fired Zimmer and Spielman. I thought Zimmer was gone and Spielman was going to stay, because I expected them to follow the same old. Because I know Zimmer didn't want Kirk Cousins. Spielman wanted Cousins. And I thought, okay, they were going to go, all right, we're going to keep Cousins and Spielman. It's Zimmer's fault. Same thing over and over again. But what made me know that the Vikings were serious about actually trying to win is that they cleared house. Ideally, they would have got rid of Kirk Cousins too, but that is fine. Kirk Cousins is top half quarterbacks, like starting quarterbacks in the league. So you keep that. If you don't have anybody, you don't want to be in disarray or turmoil, whatever you want to call it, with your team. You don't want to be terrible all the time. But hey, you have a GM and a coach that were on the same page. We're going to keep trying to pay Kirk at a certain price, and until our team is ready for their window, we're not going to get rid of him. And then they got rid of him at the right time. Thank God they didn't pay Kirk Cousins, who is, I think, 35, coming off a torn Achilles, 4 years, $160 million. I would have lost it. And I know Sam Darnold isn't perfect, but the Vikings are 8-2. And I know JJ McCarthy's hurt right now, but he looked pretty good. And you've got, let's see here. I'm looking at over the cap. I'm going to look at the Vikings, because if I remember correctly, the Vikings are going to be coming off a lot of dead cap money this coming off season because of Kirk Cousins, Danielle Hunter, Eric Kendricks, Adam Thielen, all those guys that were a part of the teams a couple years ago, all the main guys. They're coming off a lot of that dead cap space. So right now they got $7 million in cap. Next year they have 74. They've already paid JJ. They've already paid Christian Darrisaw. They've already paid Brian O'Neill, TJ Hawkinson, Jonathan Grenard, Garrett Bradbury. Like, all these guys have been paid. All of them. And 2026, 99. 2027, 180. We are completely open. And we're a contending team already. So that's what a rookie quarterback salary does for you. And even Sam Darnold isn't making that much money. If you really wanted to bring him back next year at a decent price, you can. He's only making $2.5 million. Now you are gonna have to at least pay $20 million for Sam Darnold. At least next offseason. Just off what he's done right now. There's gonna be a lot of people wanting him. So maybe you even do a $30 million deal for 1 year. I wouldn't be too mad at that. You still got, $40 million in cap space. Over 40, like 45. And then that puts you in a position to either trade for or sign, depending who the free agents are. But I would say trade for like a star pass rusher on the interior. That's what the Vikings are really missing. Interior pass rush. And they know it. We look at the free agency here. Stephon Diggs. Yeah, right. Let's see who we got in free agency for 2025 in the Vikings. Okay, we got Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins. Vikings ain't getting a receiver. We got Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin. I don't think the Vikings are going to sign a wide receiver. Khalil Mack, I don't think is worth it. Zach Martin, maybe, for them. Hassan Reddick, maybe, on the edge. Carlton Davis at corner. They could use more corner help. But I know they're going to get, what is his name? Mekhi Blackman back. He tore his ACL this year. You're going to have, do they have anybody on the interior D-line that can actually pass rush? Not really. You got DJ Jones, which I think he's more of a run stopper, which, hey, I'll take run stopping all day, but we've been good at stopping the run. BJ Hill, Javon Kinlaw, he's got potential, but he's never really panned out. Yeah, there's not really anybody. But if I take a look here, I'm going to take a look at the top interior pass rushers and see which ones the Vikings could possibly trade for next offseason. Let's see here. I'm going to look at PFF grades just to get a sense of the best this time of year. Yeah, it's literally snowing right now. I listen back to these and I sound like I'm in my 20s for sure, which I am. But I definitely sound, because I'm like obviously and seriously and honestly and like this and that. Yeah. Yikes. Okay, we got Cam Hayward. He's a little older. Dexter Lawrence. I know Vikings fans really, really want him. I don't think it's going to happen. He would be an interesting one for sure. I think he would be like the main prize. He'd be the one we'd want for sure. And the thing is, when you're like a contending team already, you don't really need, especially if we like get far in the playoffs or even in the playoffs, we don't need our first round picks for the next 2 years. So if you trade 2 first round picks and maybe a little more for Dexter Lawrence, I'm cool with it. I'm definitely cool with it. I miss having interior pass rush. Dude, I miss it a lot. Sharif Floyd. Oh my gosh, terrible story. That's a story for another day, but if you ever search up Sharif Floyd, oh my gosh. Terrible story. Just like regular surgery. They mess up a regular surgery on his knee, I think it was. Ruins his whole career. Never the same. I really liked him too. He was a first round pick. Perfect to go with Linval Joseph. He was more of a pass rusher. Whatever. Anyway, I miss Kevin Williams. I miss having that guy. John Randall. We have a history of interior pass rushers. So Dexter Lawrence would be amazing. That would be the best case scenario. But if I've learned anything being a Vikings fan, best case scenario doesn't always happen. Doesn't usually happen. So, unless it involves a wide receiver. Chris Jones, I don't think he's going. Maybe. I think I know he just got paid, I think. Calais Campbell, he's too old. DeForest Buckner is a possibility. He wouldn't be bad. He's like 30. Ali McNeil, no way. Poona Ford, no. Jalen Carter, not going to happen. Jeffrey Simmons. Possibility. I don't think they'd trade him, but it's a possibility. I mean, they are kind of rebuilding. I don't think they would. Quinnen Williams. If everything goes down the tank, Quinnen Williams might be a possibility from the Jets. He's not playing great according to his PFF grade, but nobody on the Jets are playing great. Yeah, that could be a real possibility. I don't always love his maturity level, but yeah, man. Quinnen Williams or Dexter Lawrence would be huge. That would be priority number one if I'm Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. So sophisticated. He seems like thinks he's really sophisticated too. Dude always thinks he's sophisticated. I don't know. He's just he used to work on Wall Street. And he's an Ivy League person. So, I don't know, man. Like, he's a great GM. Hey, man, I don't have to like him. I just want to win. But he's definitely not the kind of guy you'd want to hang out with. He just seems like so corporate fake. You know? Kevin O'Connell seems that way with the media, but you can tell he's just like a football guy in the locker room. Like, he just does it for the media. But Kwesi just seems like he'll always call people on the draft and be like, or no, like during interviews, he'll be like, what's your favorite song? You know, like the corporate not corporate media. I'm just ranting. Corporate people like don't know how to human interact. And I see it in like my own career too. And I'm just like, you just don't know how to react or interact with people on like a human level. You don't know how to joke around. You don't know how to, I don't know. It's just like, what's your favorite song? I really think someone's favorite song helps me get to know them. Well, no, duh. You kind of get a sense of like what kind of music they like, but that has nothing to do with like them as a person. He probably read it in some book about like leadership and, you know, some book about leadership and building a executive team and building a team. Like, yes, those are important, but you know what's best for building a team? Common sense. Which, unfortunately, it's what a lot of teams lack. But hey, I'll take it. The Vikings are doing good. I'll take it. He definitely knows more than me. I can make fun of him all I want, but he knows more than me. He's not the kind of guy I'd probably hang out with. Yeah. That's kind of where we're at on the Vikings and the Giants. I was wondering if there's anything I have to say more on the Giants. I think I'm definitely going to try to watch the HBO Hard Knocks off season. Is it just only on HBO? It probably is. I wonder if there's other ways to watch it. YouTube Premium or Primetime subscription. Hulu, which is... I hate when they say like, oh, it's on Hulu, but that just means like you have to have a Max subscription. That's stupid. Sling TV, Amazon Prime, yeah, YouTube TV. Oh, we'll see. Yeah. I think that's where we're at on the Giants. Let me see here. Anything going on in the NFL news or just news in general? I know Trump's really adding to his cabinet, and the legacy media does not like it. Well, when you betray the public for as long as you do, yeah, that's going to happen. You're not going to like it when they finally push back, huh? Sick of it. Yeah, Russia and Ukraine already, it's getting close. And I'm of the opinion it's a nuanced topic, but I'm of the opinion it's like the US government and the Biden administration is definitely the reason that this war is going on. And the reason I say that is because I'm not saying I like everything Russia does. I'm not a Russian agent. I'm not here to collude with Russia and push Russian propaganda. That's stupid. I wouldn't pay me to do any propaganda. I've got too big of a mouth. I wouldn't be able to. I can't even read off a teleprompter. I can barely read. So let me put myself in their shoes. Okay. If whether or not I actually want to take over the world or not, right? If I say, hey, my country struggled for a long time. If I'm the leader of a country, my country struggled for a long time after these world wars. We are not communist. Wait, let me see. What type of government is Russia? And this is the quality of this podcast. We go from yelling at Brian Dayball to talking about Russian government. Okay, so apparently they're a constitutional republic, federal republic, semi-presidential system. I mean, there is a little bit of a dictator element. I don't know if I fully believe that. Putin is kind of shady. But either way, it's not communist, right? Definitely not a communist guy, if you were to ask me. I'm not a communist guy. I don't think Putin is communist. I think he's just a dictator pretending to be a constitutional republic. That's just me. But if I run a country, and my country has struggled for a very long time after these wars, we have been on the wrong side of these wars for a very long time. My people have struggled because of communism. And NATO clearly is being funded by the United States in every single way. They are mainly the only ones contributing. So when Donald Trump goes in and says, why is nobody paying their fair share? Well, the reason being is because the U.S. government and the CIA, the FBI, the intelligence agencies are trying to control the world. We are trying to be the world police. I think most people would agree that most U.S. citizens agree, they don't want to be the world police. Nobody wants to be the world police. And the only reason people would say, oh, let's go to this country and do this and that is for our own protection. But I believe those people are misguided because the only time we actually do things for our own protection in other countries, it's usually for another reason that's not being told or not being shared publicly or like shared upon action. Like the U.S. government isn't being like, I'm doing this because of this. They're saying, no, it's for national security. Okay, so if I were Russia and the U.S. and NATO are clearly trying to take over the world, run our governments, right? Which you don't necessarily have to agree with Russia and China and what they do. That's fine. But if I'm a country and clearly someone is trying to take over the world, and the country closest to me is not a part of this organization trying to overthrow the entire world, including me, and I say, if Ukraine joins NATO, I will invade Ukraine. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to sit here and stand pat and wait to be taken over. That's what I'm going to do. And then upon saying that, which, yes, someone made the point to me the other day, they said, I don't like the idea of Russia being able to tell us what to do. I hear that. I understand that. I don't think that's what it is. Russia isn't saying, hey, do this and do that, or we're going to take over your country, this and that. They're saying, stop, please stop. Maybe I don't want to sound too sympathetic to them. That's how like brainwashed I've been. But Russia, like just think about it, common sense. Russia is saying stop, or we are going to defend ourselves. Stop trying to take over us. Stop trying to get a leg up on us. We are going to invade this country. And the U.S. and NATO say, we're going to do it anyway. And then what happens? War happens. Why do you think we're giving hundreds of billions of dollars as taxpayers to Ukraine? Because we are the reason for this war. Since, look at the streets. Look at anywhere you go. Look at the U.S. veterans. Give any example. Look at any of the inner cities. Look at the prices of things. Do you really think the U.S. government is willing to give away hundreds of billions of dollars of our tax dollars for morality? For morality. And this is why I really believe in putting God above everybody else. Because I think when you don't put Jesus and God first, you look for somebody else to be your savior. You look for somebody else to fix all the, not even necessarily, I think you can definitely have elected officials and say, okay, I believe in this person to make change, to do what I want them to do, which unfortunately has not been the case all the time. Our elected officials have not done what we've asked them to do, and that's the problem. And yes, there's a lot of change coming with Donald Trump, but I know that his supporters will be much, much, much more upset if he does not go through with peace, with the economy. I don't put my faith in Donald Trump as my savior. I put my faith in Donald Trump to fix what's going on in our government. That's how a democracy works. That was the best option for president, in my opinion. That's all it is. So that's where we're at with it. And I would say, okay, why do you think Trump is saying, if I go in there, I'm going to end it in one day? One day. I'm going to walk right in there. It'll be done. Why do you think he says that? And I know presidents, politicians say, oh, on day one, I'm going to fix this and that. I'm going to fix all that. I believe him because I know that it's the U.S.'s fault that this is going on. So I believe he has the conviction to say that because he's going to say, all right, NATO, pull out. Ukraine, stop. You're not joining NATO. And we are on the brink of a serious war. We really are. And people who are naive to that or not, won't believe it, fine. There's been plenty of books written in the past about us being closer to nuclear war than the public has ever known. And I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom. I'm not trying to be crazy here, but it's a real thing. There have been plenty of times where there's been issues with nuclear bombs. I think there was this book written I had heard about. There was this submarine who's, they're just like communication systems went down during World War II, and they were underwater and they had seen something coming and they almost shot at it. And what it was a submarine with nuclear missiles on it, or nuclear bombs on it, which, don't fully quote me, I'd have to find the book again, but stuff like that can happen. We're infallible people. Humans can make mistakes. Even the most quote unquote important politicians, who are usually the dumbest people on earth, politicians, in a respectful way, I mean this, service members of the military, they're human. They can make mistakes. Anytime you are talking about nuclear bombs or war, things can happen. Things can definitely accidentally happen. So the fact that we're even playing around with this, I don't think we're ready for war. as a country, nor should we be. We should never be ready for war. The only time we should be ready for war is when we're fighting for our freedom and our ability to be a country. Which, when's the last time that has happened? It's been a long time. You can make an argument, even in the 2 world wars, that we didn't have to be a part of it. I could be wrong. I'm probably a lot more misinformed, but I think you can make that argument. I think the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, are the 2 wars that I'd say not were ideal, not were... I don't ever want to say war is necessary, but if war were ever necessary, those were the 2 that I would pick. I wouldn't pick Vietnam. Definitely wouldn't pick... definitely wouldn't pick Vietnam. Definitely wouldn't pick Iraq. Definitely wouldn't pick Iran. Definitely wouldn't pick Ukraine, Russia. Definitely would not pick fighting with China right now. I would not pick any of those things at all. And I think we're trying to egg Russia on. I think there's plenty of people that benefit from war. Boeing actually benefits from war. Did you know that? Why do you think all their planes are falling apart? There's no war going on. They don't have money. Allegedly. That would be my alleged guess. Because I'm pretty sure Boeing makes money. Boeing, money off of war. Just going to put that. As of 2022, Boeing is the world's 3rd largest military company with $35 billion in annual revenue, 56% of which derives from its defense sector. Boeing has long supplied the U.S. and international militaries with aircraft, weapon systems. See, I can't read, so don't take anything I have to say as importance. Hopefully, it's just a little bit of entertainment. Maybe you learn a little something about football, not about world wars, and related logistics and maintenance services. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I think there's a lot of people out there that want war. I don't want war. I really don't. I don't think anybody wants war, and if you do, you need to check your motives. You need to check your thoughts on human life. That's just me, and I think the only time war is necessary is when you're defending those you love and defending your right to freedom and life. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I definitely believe in that. So that's where we're at. It's really interesting. Yeah, I guess just kind of going back into the NFL here. Let's see if there's anything with NFL news. I think you'll learn too, like, this podcast is just my interest. A lot of it is football. Some of it is family. Some of it is politics. Some of it is faith. But, yeah, a lot of it's going to be football. But I think it makes, I think it's a genuine thing. I think, the more genuine I can be, the more this can go on. If I try to be anybody else, this ain't going to last very long. And I hope it lasts for a very long time. And then they're going to clip me 10 years from now. And they're going to be like, Terrell said that back in the day, he's going to be genuine. Now look, he's always been genuine. Oh, yeah. And then I'm going to be on whatever new clip set, like short video social media app in 10 years. Maybe it'll be TikTok, maybe not. And they're going to be like, he always knew. Yeah. So we'll see. I hope that happens. This would be hilarious. Okay, let's see. Also, yeah, just a reiteration that the Jets are stupid for firing Robert Saleh. I saw something. Woody Johnson wants to bench Rodgers. Is that true? CBS Sports and plenty of other media sites Woody Johnson wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers after brutal Week 4 loss. What? What? Okay, when did Robert Saleh get fired? When did Robert Saleh get married? I don't care when he got married. Get fired. After 2-3 start. Okay. This is adding up. So after the Week 4 loss. Okay, Jets. Let's go to Bleacher Report here. They always have a good schedule thing here. So I'm going to take a look at the Jets schedule. Wow, the Bleacher Report website is so much different than the app. The app is way better. If you don't have TeamStream, great app. I've literally had it since middle school. It's like the best news app. Okay. Not helpful. Not helpful at all. The website sucks. Let's see here. Come on now. Maybe it's because nothing's loading. Yeah, the website sucks. Okay, hold on. New York Jets schedule. What I'm trying to do is see how the timeline works for Robert Saleh getting fired. Because he was fired after Week 5. And Woody Johnson wanted to bench Rodgers after Week 4. So my assumption is that he got fired because of that. Let's take a look. So they played the 49ers first and lost. Okay. Okay, Week 4 they lost 10-9, which the Broncos defense is good. I don't know. So I think Robert Saleh got fired when? Just 5 games into the season. Was it after the Vikings won? Wow. The Vikings did it, huh? Wow. Yeah, my assumption would be that allegedly, because you know these psycho owners will sue anybody who disagrees with them. Allegedly, Woody Johnson wanted to bench the Broncos. Wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers after the Broncos game. Robert Saleh said no. No way. And then they went to London or wherever, which the concept of going to other countries to play games is so dumb. Oh, it's so dumb. I don't care about the NFL being global. Y'all make plenty of money. You're going to be fine. Stop traveling overseas. It's stupid. Lost to the Vikings in London. Wow. And then he got fired. And that's how long of a leash Woody Johnson has. And that's why, sir, you don't win. These guys, it's just so hard for these kind of people to not be able to control everything. It's so hard for them. If things aren't done their way and they're somewhat proven right, then they're like, oh, they're gone. And yes, you can make an argument that works for them in business. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because this YouTuber says that called Let's Talk Jets. Woody wanted to bench Rodgers? ? I call BS. I don't call BS. I don't even need to watch this video. I don't call BS at all. That sounds exactly like something Woody Johnson would do. And this is why the Jets are terrible. This is why they lose. They have a terrible owner. And usually that's what it comes down to. I'm not a huge fan of the Vikings owners. They're definitely better than other owners. I'll say that. But they're not my favorite either. They're definitely not. I think they've gotten better. I think they see the error of their ways. I think they also just won a championship with their soccer team, one of their soccer teams, the Wilfs. So I think maybe they see a little bit of like what winning actually looks like and what it means. going to a Vikings game is like one of the most amazing experiences, and a lot of people in the media or anyone who visits will tell you. But part of me is like, stop. You get that after you win. You have never won a Super Bowl. Stop doing this. This is what makes me think you don't care about actually winning. You're willing to put all this investment in the stadium and pyrotechnics or whatever you want to call it, fireworks, and the stadium and production is amazing, but it's like, dude, I don't care. I want to win. You know what sells? Winning. And these guys just like want to take the easy way out. It's so annoying. Okay, we're going to look at Jets owners here. Okay. Owner. Where is the owner here? Why did it show me that before? Okay, whatever. Woody Johnson. I'm going to Google. How long has Woody Johnson, Woody Allen, been married to his daughter? Oh, gosh. Been the owner of the Jets. That situation's weird. That's Hollywood for you. And then you see all these celebrities being like, oh, I love this person. Celebrities are the worst. Actors are so dumb. Okay, Woody Johnson. Actors, if you listen to an actor about like who to vote for or like anything, life advice, anything, they pretend to be someone that they're not for a living. For a living. Oh my gosh. Okay. He became the owner in 2000. Okay. Yeah, yikes. I mean, they've had a few early. Yeah, I mean, they've made the playoffs a few times, but they haven't made the playoffs in like 13 years. Wasn't he like the ambassador of London for Donald Trump? His first administration? Because, yeah, I'm not going to Google that right now, but I think they just need to get rid of him. Or he needs to, well, I guess there's nobody to get rid of the owner. But you just got to sell the team, bro. When did they win the Super Bowl? They won the Super Bowl in the 68. That's how old Joe Namath is? Goodness gracious. I'm over here thinking it's in the 70s or early 80s. 68? Wow. Yeah. I don't know. The Jets need to get their stuff together. New York sports, New York football needs to get their act together. Honestly, I don't really care. We talked about it a couple podcasts ago, or quite a few maybe. Like, I don't want to watch New York versus LA in the Super Bowl. That's fine. New York football teams can be terrible for the rest of their lives for all I care. For the rest of my life for all I care. I don't care. I don't want to watch New York City teams win. I'll watch Buffalo win. I'm cool with that. But yeah, New York teams are terrible. Hopefully they'll stay terrible. Jesus loves you. Don't forget that. He died on the cross for your sins. That's a great thing. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day and take care now.